As many of you may know, parts of Yellowstone National Park have been experiencing wildfires this summer. I'm here today to represent the Parks Service and address the public's concerns and criticisms of the wildfires and how we handled it. Starting in June last year, the National Park Service allowed 9 naturally occurring wildfires to burn uncontrolled per policy. There were also a few human-caused wildfires that were contained and put out immediately, as has always been our policy. As of June 15th, the National Park Service decided that these naturally occurring fires had the potential to burn through enough of the park to be a danger to civilians and the surrounding forests. We had decided to change our policy and use any available resources to control and suppress the fires. The let burn policy was never meant to cause this sort of national disaster. Its original intent was to actually help the natural environment flourish. The forested land of Yellowstone National Park is covered mostly in lodgewood pine trees. The natural habitats surrounding these particular trees are built to burn and recover. The soils at Yellowstone are very thin and very poor, meaning vegetation has a really hard time growing. This encourages slow-growing trees like the lodgepole pine. It also means that the nutrients in the soil need to be replenished to support new life. This is usually done by burning. If you examine the soil of Yellowstone's greater forests, you see that there's a very long history of large fires, similar to the ones last summer, occurring about every 250 or 400 years. This is why you don't see trees thousands of years old like you do in the redwood forests of the coast. The vegetation here relies on these scheduled burns to replenish the thin, poor soil and the fallen trees, so that sunlight can reach and nurture the beginnings of the new forest. In fact, the species of lodgepole pine found in Yellowstone can't actually release their seeds and replenish until a fire forces the little pine cones to explode. Now, the Park Service has been getting a lot of criticism in the media lately for letting the fires get out of hand. I would like to address this next. The fires getting so widespread and out of hand wasn't really our fault. There wasn't much we can do once they started spreading. Yes, we acknowledge we could have done more in the beginning while they were still smaller to control the spread of the fires but after they've started spreading, there isn't really a lot you can do. This is because all of the dead vegetation that piles up over the years and the fact that the weather last spring had been particularly dry. Now, the standard moisture levels in fuel vegetations at Yellowstone tends to be around 13%. However, because of the dry weather this year, the fuel in Yellowstone ranged from about 2 to 7% when the fire started. The low moisture levels caused the fires to move too fast to safely fight directly. The fires last summer were moving between 7 and 10 miles a day, and the winds that they caused were blowing embers up to a mile ahead. This made it impossible for us to control the fires through rivers, fire lines, and roads because they just can't barricade against the fires when they're blowing through the air. While the fires and forest destruction may be sad and unsightly for now, in the long run, it's actually a lot better for the forest and the park. We do expect a quick and beautiful recovery, and we'll be reopening most of the park to the public on schedule this spring. While in the future we will be more diligent about managing fires, we will continue to allow natural fires to burn themselves out, permitting they do not cause a danger to civilians, wildlife, and forests outside of the park. Thank you.